Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, I am pre-recording a bunch of these introduction portions of my video because over the next couple of weeks and or months, depending on my schedule, I will be doing a lot of these videos at my crop, so I will not be able to do in real time introductions. So for this particular video, I will be using the Jillibean Soup Bowl of Dreams line, and so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So besides the super fun bright colors, one of the reasons I wanted to use this particular line for this layout is because I do own the entire collection pack, and the collection pack comes with 2 pieces of each kind of pattern paper. Now, this is going to be a double page layout, so I thought it could be fun if I used 2 pieces of pattern paper as my background, which I don't normally get to do when I make a double page layout, simply because I don't tend to buy 2 pieces of the same piece of paper. Occasionally I do if I really, really love both sides, but that's just not something I do on an average basis. So I've decided on these 2 dark teal tone-on-tone geometric patterns, and I think they're gorgeous, and I'm super happy to use it even though it is dark. And then the other piece of paper I'll be using is this Make Magic one, these scribbly multicolor polka dots. My background paper is going to be Aim High, and I will tell you, I was a little disappointed about using both sides of the teal and not being able to use that feather paper at all, but this really was the best choice for my photos. I like the high contrast between the darker background and then the lightness of this multicolor dot pattern. Now, before I had placed all my photos, just making sure everything was looking the way I wanted. And I will mention again, I'm not some savant when it comes to photo placement and design. Especially for my crops and especially for when I'm making 2-page layouts, I do go ahead and pre-make sketches for those layouts. I actually just completed a video about sorry, little dinging in the background. My rotisserie chicken is done, and I got a little distracted there. Sorry. So what I was saying before was I made a video showing how I use Windows Publisher to make very simple sketches. I will put a link in the description box below to that video if you want to check it out. So while I was being distracted by my finishing dinner, I did take a banner punch, and it is a double dot embossing punch, and it's from EK Success, and that is not mine. I borrowed that from a friend at the crop, and I did a scallop punch along the entire border. Now, for some reason, the polka dotted paper was just like a 1/16 of an inch longer than my background paper, so I do end up having to trim off everything just a little bit. I think for some reason that green paper is just a tiny bit shorter than an actual 12 by 12 because I ended up having to trim up my photos as well. So I just pull out my T-square because I'm having trouble getting it lined up, and because I'm going to have my photos kind of resting on that, I'm doing the trick where I'm elongating the paper by tucking it behind the photos. And then I'm going to start, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue just the bottom portion of my photos on top of that scallop part, and then I'm going to take this other piece of the pattern paper and slide it behind until I get it where I want, at the height I want, and that's how I'm going to get it to where I want it to be. And then I'm just going to go back and add some more of my ATG to the tops of my photos. Now, before I put this out, you might have noticed I pulled out the alpha I'm going to use. I am going to use the large die cut alpha that came with this line as well. And the reason I was checking that is because I wanted it to overlap a little bit, but I didn't want a huge gap, but I also didn't want it to run like over too much of the photos if it was just a little too tall. So I'm just once again trimming up all my photos so everything lines up all together with the edge of my paper and everything's good to go and yay and everything is good. And I'm going to add my last two photos. So, oh, so here's where I'm pulling out my alphas again. So I pull out three letters because I'm going to use these larger letters for part of my alpha title. Wow, words are hard. And then I'm going to use a smaller one for the other part. I did cut away from that because I was kind of looking through seeing if there were other colors because I was going to try to pull in that lighter blue color, but I didn't have anything in those letters and the lighter blue. So these photos are from SeaWorld. I have done other layouts from SeaWorld before years ago when I first started this album. This is an album from a trip I took back in 2007. I did part of it and then I stopped scrapbooking for a while and now I'm trying to work my way through the rest of it. So these are photos that were kind of just random. I didn't really have a huge story for them. Some are animal shots, some are just shots of stuff around the park. I do have, I think, two more layouts to do about SeaWorld, but they're about some of the different shows we saw. So while I was explaining my SeaWorld stuff, I will say I'm finishing off my title using the alpha from the 6x12 sticker set that also came with the collection. And I've also, as you saw, went through the die cut pack and pulled out some of the die cuts I thought might work with this particular layout. I'm going to use two of those cameras and I'm going to use those arrows in each of my embellishment cluster areas. And then I'm also going to use those two flamingos, which I know if you look at the page, there are no flamingos on this page. Not only that, but I actually did a layout about flamingos at the SeaWorld park for this album. But of course, I did that back in like 2009 when I first started this line of this album. So I can't go back and redo it. Well, I have enough layouts to do. I don't need to go back and redo it. Now I'm also adding some little word stickers to each of the cameras and then a couple of arrow stickers in the place where the flamingos are. Now I'm moving on to the puffy stickers. I pull out that word smile, and then I'm also going to pull out a circular sticker, puffy sticker, with the word smile, and then a little heart puffy sticker. I'm going to finish off my layout with some glittered enamel dots, and then I'm going to find a cut apart, and I'm just going to trim off a piece of that cut apart, and I'm going to use that to do my journaling. So, as I said, these are kind of like leftover stickers. They did follow a theme in that they were either all animals or all scenic photos. So I didn't necessarily think I needed to, what I'm going to do with the rest of the photos that I'm not making layouts about, I'm going to put them in the back of my album in pocketed pages. So I felt there were enough of these and they were similar enough that I could do a two-page layout about it rather than just put them in pocketed pages. But that's going to finish off my layout for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Have a great day, everyone. Bye!